Hi, guys. Welcome to the second edition of the Daily Stampede Film Room, where we are going to break down the absolute disaster that was USF's last football game against SMU and on Saturday. The conference opener that might have been the conference closer. Colin Sherwin alongside Seth Varnadore, Cedric Padilla, and Nathan Bond, who I don't think you can see right now. At least I can't see him. Can you guys see Nate? I can't.
That's negative.
Negative. Okay, cool. But we're all four of us are gonna be here and able to break down everything that we saw that looked really bad on Saturday, and see if it's possibly fixable before UConn, and potentially could we even get a couple more wins later this season? Probably not, but let's find out why. Our sponsor is Matrix Hormones. Matrix Hormones 813-333-2226. Again, that's 813-333-2226. 3 field goals, 3 safeties, 1 touchdown, no PAT. They are a great place to go if you need to get your levels checked, if you are not feeling like yourself, if you're feeling run down, don't quite have the energy that you once did. Again, that's Matrix Hormones, 813-333-2226. They are the official sponsor of all of our podcasts here at the Daily Stampede, and we appreciate their efforts, and go support the Bulls businesses that support us as well. If you are a man of middle age, but it also applies to women as well. If there's somebody else in your life that just doesn't feel up to what they once were, again, 813-333-2226. It costs less than you think, and it can be a great way to get back the health and vitality that you once had. If you're feeling like the USF football team did on Saturday, 813-333-2226. All right, Seth. Full disclosure here, I haven't seen any of this since the game. I usually try and watch the game back at least once before we do stuff like this. I have not had the opportunity to do that, so I am coming in cold here. Rise and fire. Where do we start?
All right, so I just pulled like 8 plays to check out, so go ahead and forward it. You guys seeing this?
All right. So it looks like.
Go ahead. We'll start with the first interception. So we see here, 3rd and 6. What is this, on the 7? Going in. This is the 16th play of the drive, so you have a pretty good drive going here. We've talked before about smash. This is going to kind of be a version of it, where they're going to run him on an out, bring him across. Put that up here. That's kind of what you really want to look for here. So we'll let it run. And just the throw is kind of possibly late, but just not out far enough. So right there, you got man-to-man on him. He actually gets through pretty clean through all this. He's going to run a post back behind here. So if the quarterback feels like they've flown with the crosser, I can kind of come back here. You'll see this is kind of open as well. And then SMU does actually bring pressure here, and the offensive line does a pretty good job of picking it up. Not perfect protection. We'll kind of go through slow here. Not perfect protection. Here's the guy that's on Wilcox. He's already beaten him inside with a pretty good route. Obviously not perfect protection, but that's a pretty good pocket there. I don't think it impedes the throw at all.
Yeah, they've picked up 6. That's 6 on 6 right there, so that's exactly what you want. And I get
so you can see kind of it's a little blurry because this isn't wasn't pulled out in HD, but here's the post kind of back here, so you had that shot, but you also, if you just throw it out to this space here, there's the man on the first tight end. He's got the leverage you want. The throw just, I think, may even be a little late, and that causes him to kind of throw it behind. If he throws this a little bit sooner, if he hits and kind of lets it go now, just a hair late, causes it to be a little bit behind, and this guy does go up and make a really good play too. So they got guys on scholarship too. But that was kind of this was something they saw. They must have seen on film, because they were able to get guys open on these deep crossers pretty much all night. And they run them a variety of ways. And you'll see on the next interception, it's a similar concept, actually. So you guys pretty good with this one?
Yeah, so here's unfortunately, if the number, so the receiver, though, the slot receiver here, and I can't tell who that is, who the slot guy is, but we lose him in camera frame here, but with them bringing 5, is that a spot where, I mean, and you see that 23 with his back turned to him right there. Mm-hmm. Should the ball go here possibly? I mean, we can't tell, unfortunately, because we don't have the all-22.
It could. I'm pretty sure he's running a post, so really the quarterback's kind of looking, if he's got leverage, you can take that, because it's probably going, the read's probably here, here, here. So he's kind of going, scanning back across.
Okay.
So right there, as soon as that guy takes it out, it's an easy read for the quarterback. It's the same read he's been making for smash and all these other different ways they run smash. It's what they do a good job of is running the same concepts for the quarterback, but out of totally different looks and formations. So for the quarterback's job, it's easy. It's the same exact read, but it looks like 4 or 5 different ways to the defense. So he could have, I think right here, you can see him kind of coming here late. I think he could have come back to this if he wanted to on the post. But he does have leverage, so you're not gonna chide him for that. But yeah, he could have come to the post back there. I think that's like this. That would be the third part. You hit that maybe in the back of the end zone.
There. Seth, if you scroll back to right before McLeod releases it, I'm definitely not a pro, but is that the footwork you want on that kind of throw? It looked a little flat-footed.
I think you probably. Now this is why I say it's not perfect protection. It's not terrible. You kind of want to, anytime you throw, you want to really pull those hips through and kind of transfer your weight. I don't know if that's the issue. It wasn't great. It's not like perfect right here, but he's also getting this pushed back into his lap a little bit. So that could be part of it. But I think it's just because he's a little bit late. Because now this ball has to be perfect over here and in a very small window. Whereas if he throws it when he's here, which is probably designed, now I got a bigger radius to miss and still make a good play. Whereas here, if I miss on this side, it's over. So I think that was more. I think he was a little bit late here. So I want to be coming out already.
Yeah, I once was at a USF practice. This was back when we still had a lot more open practices, and I saw David Reeves, who was our QB coach at the time, and they would set up 3 trash cans like right on that pylon that Mitch was running towards there, and it was just step back, take 3 steps back, and then try and drop the football in the trash can. Just to try and get that kind of accuracy on the ball and that looping ball. Is that the kind of ball we should be looking for here, or should this be a ball with a little bit more zip on it?
No, I think
you want to drop it in.
I think this is one you want to drop in. You're throwing it almost like you're really throwing it like a corner out, because functionally it is a corner out. You got the guy taking the flat for the smash, and you got the other guy taking the corner spot. So it's functionally you want to throw it like a corner out. So I mean, he could have maybe taken to the back pylon, but he's kind of got leverage, and you just want to bend him over into the space. I just think he may have been just a hair late. And that just makes you have, if he's throwing this a little earlier and he throws it the same spot and Mitch is running underneath it now, it's a great throw. It's up high, he can go get it. But being late, it throws even in the same spot, just a little bit behind him now. So I think that's more the problem, was just being a little bit late on the throw.
Okay. But good blitz pickup, and we've crushed this offensive line, but they did a nice job here. So
yeah, this is a really good job.
Move on to the next play here. Yeah. Last thought, they all win their matchup. I mean, Jennings gives up a little bit of ground, but it felt like they all won their matchup there.
Yeah, I think it's a clean enough pocket. I don't think it really affected the throw at all, just him getting pushed back. It's a pretty clean pocket to throw out of. And then another thing I thought they did a pretty good job with, but unfortunately, another kind of just a little bit of an errant throw here is the second play. If you're having problems up front, one thing you can do to take some pressure off the O-line is roll your quarterback out. Do they roll him out?
So do we? Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Oh, God. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Okay, so that is cover 2. Looks like nickel, and then we're in, I guess, 11.
Yeah.
like this is, I mean, something over the. If you can run something between the two safeties here, if you're trying to go deep, that's the first option, correct?
Yeah, and I think they might be playing a version of quarters here, just because how low he is. I think he's got eyes on two, so he tries to get back underneath it late. But they've also shown that when two's, showing, he'll fly up a little bit. So that's the idea. What they do, they run kind of a return route.
Okay.
Functionally, what a lot of teams will do, they'll run this. A lot of them call it cover 4 now, and that's actually what you heard. If you saw that clip of Deshaun Watson over the weekend.
That's
Watson
right.
over the weekend.
Yeah,
that was what he was talking about. These guys will read 2 to their side. It's kind of a basic. There's a ton of different variations of it, but the basic one is I just read 2 to my side. So they're hoping eyes will get caught up by 2 here. Sometimes if that guy shows run or block, this guy will just fly up and play. He sees it's a pass, so he tries to get back underneath. But you catch his eyes with this, and then here he's going to come in motion, so he gets a free release, and he's running a deep crosser. And then the same idea, it's basically the same idea as the last play, and then I'm going to run a post behind the deep crosser. So functionally, a little bit of a double post idea, but this guy's going to end up over the top here. And again, it's kind of, for the quarterback, it's not too dissimilar to smash. I got a guy here because he'll return back to the flat, but I think he's going to be kind of the third option here. You want to take these shots first, and then I can come down to this. And then if you're worried about your O-line, keep 7 in protection and roll your quarterback out. So they do that.
So this is a max protect type of.
Yeah, this is just a shot. I think it's you're down 14, maybe a big spark, big play here. This is a shot play, and they have exactly what they want. So schematically, they got it, but the throw just ends up being a little short here. So you see, he's still eyeing 2 here, but he's kind of starting to get back underneath because he sees that this is a throw.
So, Seth, you're saying the scheme was there, and there's that dirty word that starts with an E that fans have
as much as it sucks to hear. I understand that if you've been hearing it for a while, it kind of gets old, but it's not wrong either.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I think everyone knew, he was wide open. The play worked. It was just literally poor execution.
So right here,
I mean, he sets up. He just, I don't know if he doesn't.
I don't know if he has the arm, but if he throws it here, because he starts to flatten out to the ball. If he throws it there, that's horn. That's a touchdown.
Yeah, he's gone.
It's gone.
And so we talked about it on the Facebook Live afterwards, but here's how you start the game: 3 and out for both sides. Then what should be a pick 6 goes through your hands. They go down and score, and we'll kind of look at a couple plays from there. They had a lot of problems with SMU's tempo. That was a bit surprising to me with how much tempo they like to run. But so then you go a pick 6, you don't get it. Now you're down 7-0. Then you have another good play call in the red zone that probably should be a touchdown with a little bit better execution. That gets picked. They go down and score. What's 14-0? Not great, obviously, but then here you have a chance to go back 14-7, and now it's the game. Instead, you throw a pick, they go down and score. It's 21-0. Game's basically over. So,
can we take a look? I'm sorry. Can we take a look at what Jordan does here? Because the form on his deep ball here. So that ball's on the 27 when it starts. When he releases it, he is on the 21, and it just looks like he just wants to lay everything in there instead of put some zip on it. And so that ball travels 43, 44 yards in the air. I mean, most college quarterbacks can give that a
and we saw him last week throw it from past the 50 to the goal line pretty easily on or 2 weeks ago against South Carolina State. Throw it, so this could be one he just short arms it, or
Do you think he may have been hurt before this throw?
I was just going to say, yeah.
I don't. He makes a
because that is a duck.
He overthrows. It's possible, but he overthrows a post later. So
that ball's just floating right in there, like to Colin's point. There's no zip on that ball at all.
And he didn't get his hips through the ball. He didn't get his hips through the ball at all. Nothing.
His form this one is better than the first interception, though.
No, he doesn't have he doesn't have a crazy strong arm. That's kind of, probably that's one of the reasons he probably wasn't, I didn't follow his recruitment, but he wasn't, being a kid with his pedigree and, I don't know if his recruitment was hotly contested or not, but this would probably be the knock against him, is his arm is not insanely strong. It's strong, it's above average, but it's not like he's, he definitely doesn't have the strongest arm in the quarterback room.
It just seems like if he pushes off with his back foot and rolls his hips through the ball there and fires it, like that's a TD. And he's going to get there. And if he's hurt at this point, like Nate said, I hate breaking down a kid like this, especially if he's in a spot where he's hurt. But man alive, like that's a play you got to make.
It's kind of the, what does he provide for you with his legs and some of the other stuff he provides? Well, he's also young, and they're going to have these kind of mistakes. Or it could just be he's like, oh crap, that guy's wide open. He tries to rush it and just doesn't get anything on it.
Or does he try and be too cute where it's like, oh, that guy's so open, I can just lay it in there to make sure he catches it? Is that?
Yeah. So I think unfortunately for him, he had some of his young guy moments, and they're not on here, but there's a few of the sacks that were just totally on him. It's like, he made a read to pull the ball and throw a bubble, like we talked about. He didn't do against South Carolina State, and then he saw the outside receiver was getting pushed back, so he's didn't throw the bubble, even though it was uncovered, and he got smoked because it was a run play, so they're not blocking the backside end. So there's a few times like that. There's a 3-step drop, and he held the ball. Or quick game stuff with that full slide and he held the ball for too long. There's a few times like that he had those young guy mistakes, but that's kind of the trade-off you get to get him in there and get him the experience and use his kind of electricity in the run game. So,
and I'd rather get this experience now and get better because that's the only way you're gonna.
All right, so this is just a total bust. This is the run play where they go and touch for a touchdown here. So it's 3rd and 3. We're in some form of cover 1 or cover 0. I only say 1 because he's high, but he may have the back. He is man-to-man with this. So they're man-to-man.
Right.
You're man-to-man here, man-to-man here, man-to-man here. And now this is a good play call against this defense, but I think there's no reason for what happens in here. So A gaps are on either side of the center. So right here, when you hear coaches, especially defensive coaches, talking about gap integrity in the run game, and that's everybody has a gap. So between every offensive lineman and even outside is a gap. So A gaps on either side of the center, B gaps either side of the guard, C gaps outside the tackle or between the tackle and tight end if there is one. There's a tight end, you got the D gap outside. So everybody on defense should have a gap. What happens here is you have 3 guys, these 3 right here, all go into the 2 A gaps. I don't know why. I'm assuming it's a bust. I don't think, knowing the defensive coaches, they're pretty sound schematically. I don't think they've tried to call something weird like that on this 3rd and 3. But what happens is they run split zone. So he's going to come across, kick out the end man. He's in man coverage, so he follows. These 3 play in the A gaps, so there's nobody left in the B gap. And that's how you get that crease where he's untouched. And I really think it's either.
What is Nick Roberts reading right here? The high safety.
I think this is where I don't. This is where I'm not sure. He's either. They're either. He may have if it's like 0, he has the.
Was he supposed to pass it off?
That's what I don't. I think they may be confused here because if it's 0, then he has the back man because these guys are coming. So he's got him man. He's got him man. So if it's 0. He would be coming with the back. So that's my confusion, because he comes here for the tight end, and he also comes here for the tight end. And then these guys, he looks like he's running a stunt or something. He gets almost behind this linebacker. The linebacker goes to the A-gap. He goes there. He's here. He fits off the edge. And I wish he'd fit a little bit tighter on the block down, but that doesn't really affect the play here. I wish he kind of squeezed this a little bit more. I can just hear my brother screaming, "Squeeze the down block." But so I don't know why. I don't know why you got two. He could be he could be. He's really one of these guys. Probably bust too, but the biggest bust is here, because you just got somebody just leaves a gap open, and if you watch kind of the tackle here, it looks like he's almost like they're almost trying to run a game, but I don't think they would call that, because.
So this isn't like some sort of like double A gap fire where they're just coming, they're trying to overload the center. I
think he's in the A gap. He's in the A. You got two in the A gaps right now. He's coming in the B gap. He's in the C gap. He's in the C gap up here. And now, if he's in the B gap, you got him all covered now. Instead, he goes to the A gap as well. So, and then what's open? The B gap. And it's this. I mean, it couldn't be any easier.
So
he's probably he's probably tracking the B gap, inside zone. If it's not super tight, a lot of times they'll track B gap, so he doesn't even have to come off his track. He's just untouched.
But finally, one safety? Last question, Nick Roberts, what are you doing, brother?
Yeah, that's what
I don't get. What is his high safety rating?
If it's 0, he needs to be kind of folded in with the back.
Right.
He's the contained player here. They don't really need him up there, so I'm not. This is one where, does he might bust, because if it is 0, he should probably get in here. He's still not great up here, but he can kind of be your safety valve.
Do your 1 of 11. I mean, it's a first down, a 10-yard gain instead of a untouched touchdown if he kind of shades over a little bit more.
Is that stud still as the other safety? I think it is.
Yes, and it looks like what happens here is I'm pretty sure he's in man coverage, because this is where the confusion is. If he comes here, he's running slice, but he very well could just slip to the flat and they run play action here, So if it's man, he's got to carry this across. But the question is this guy on the back end.
Yeah.
If he has to carry them all the way across, then he's got to be kind of, I'm assuming he may fold in with the back. If he doesn't carry him all the way across, well, then now I can carry him, and then I can kind of, almost like an exchange of responsibilities. Like
that's what I was going to say. Were Studstill and Nick supposed to exchange there?
It's very possible, because I guarantee if he went in motion, they would exchange the responsibility. So with him coming across, I'm sure they've seen this on film. This isn't something new. If you run zone and you use this kind of H-back guy, you run split zone. So
this is the play that we ran last year. How many thousand times did we run this play last year with Sterling Gilbert?
Oh, sure. If you run inside zone and you use an H-back?
Yeah, I mean, this is literally this was like our base. Every talk about halfback dive, this is like the counter off halfback dive that we ran last year. Like we ran this play 1,000 times last season.
And really, this isn't bad up front. It's just one guy is out of his gap, which is a big problem. But, it's not like they're getting pushed 10 yards in the backfield here. I mean, they got penetration on a 3rd and short. But you're just out of your gaps, and then maybe a screw up on the back end. It's hard to tell exactly, but it's.
I'm going to go with Nate's default answer. Nate's default answer is going to be blame Nick Roberts.
It's possible there was a screw up back here. So that's what happened there. You got it gapped out, and then with this guy coming across, brought 2 guys for some reason.
Yeah. So Seth,
they were supposed to exchange it, or he's supposed to fall the back.
If this is a play action and the running back stays in to block, what is Nick Roberts supposed to do? Is he supposed to blitz or stay back and be like a cover 1 guy and kind of cut off the middle?
Some guys will have, if you're man-to-man with somebody, like a lot of times it's a linebacker on the back, but it could be similar. If you're man-to-man on the back and he stays in the protection, you add on to the blitz. So you'll just add on, which I don't know if they'd want him adding on from here, but it's possible they could. I don't think this is how they want to play this, and I don't think that was the play call either. So this is looking at it from the coaching perspective. You're like, yeah, this is another lapse in execution, more than a lap in scheme, but after a certain time, you got to put the guys out there that are going to execute. So that'd be part of it. But
all right, let's keep going because there's a lot to get to.
Yeah. All right, so here's another one that's just kind
First
of.
First of all, props to them for going for it because a lot of coaches here, 2-score game, 4th down, get up 3 scores, and Sonny's like, screw it, early in the second quarter, let's just pour it on. I love it.
Yeah, so at worst, they're making them go, 94?
95 yards.
Yeah, so okay, good luck,
Right.
But here, so this is the drive after the pick. You get them in a 4th down. A coach I coached with played safety at Houston, and I was telling Nate about this up in the press box. One thing he would always stress, he coached receivers for us actually, but when we do anything on the goal line against our defensive backs, he would scream and yell at them about not being on the same level. So right here, these guys are on the exact same level. Why do you not want to be on the same level? Because if I'm back here and he runs inside to pick me, well, now I can jump over. It's a little bit easier for me to jump over the top. And now he should play up because he can jam right here, and then I could play over the top for the pick. Because, that's not an uncommon route combination here on the goal line.
Especially with no safety behind you.
Yes. So, with them being on the same level, they could have run a bunch. They could have run just wheel, snap. There's so many different combinations they could have run, and this is something I'm almost certain they're not telling them to get on the same level. But what happened here? You got a tight end here, so they put the safety outside. You got Prochet here, so they put the corner on him. He's probably not used to playing inside, so he busts here. I'm almost certain that'd be a bust, and then it's just easy. Because, if I don't run into him, I'll run into my guy on the back side of him, and it's just easy money.
So who's inside guy supposed to be off, and then the outside guy
I think he'd
presses?
probably be off. Because, if you're playing man here, let him press.
Yeah, so is that
so he
KJ
can still be in
there?
this is Roberts here, so I think he's playing it right, and I think this is Hampton. So if Hampton's playing here, as soon as he sees that, well, now I can get over here and drive on it a little bit too.
Yeah, for the people listening, think the game-winning interception by Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks for the Patriots.
Why did you have to bring that back up?
Basically the exact same concept. They're just, I think it's Brandon Browner and him, and they're off, and
yeah, they're going they were going inside.
Browner gets picked, and Butler's able to just drive down on the ball and intercept it at the goal line. So it's the same kind of concept, just from 6 yards back.
It was basically like this. They came right here and picked the outside guy and brought him underneath for the slant, and then he was off and was able to drive on it, just like you're saying. So yeah, it's like this, but just inverted. So that's just one that's like another thing that's not a scheme loss. It's just an alignment issue. But against somebody that's good, they're going to take advantage of it.
So do you think they recognize
I hate to bring
that?
this up. Is that just back to execution again? Like,
well, I doubt. Like, I would be shocked if they're coaching these guys to be on the same level. Just because it's so down here you're so often going to see slant wheel, and they've run a lot of wheels and bubbles and that kind of stuff. So you're going to, they run the quick out and the go route with this guy, which is like a quick game air raid staple. So it wouldn't be something that I would be shocked that they were going to do something like this in the goal line. So I would be really surprised if they're telling these guys, oh yeah, just get up in their face on the same level. Especially in this area, there's a lot of variations to coverages.
Can I ask you? We talked about how the quarterback in most air raid systems can change the play at the line, and I didn't see a ton of check with me during the game. Is this something where QB walks up, and
I think this was after a timeout.
Oh shit!
Wasn't this after a timeout?
Was it after time? But is it possible that they? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe USF called a timeout here because they had a guy running on or off.
Yes, they didn't have. Yeah, so this is coming out of a timeout. So they probably got to see how they lined up out. They might have got to see how they lined up out here to the formation, and then with the guy trying to run off, they called a timeout. They're like, okay, so this is how they're going to play it. What do we call? So
got it.
And they were in such a mad scramble. It may have been hard upstairs to see. The guy that may have been looking for this upstairs may have been counting dudes like we got 12 on, call a timeout. So that was so that could have been what happened. But yeah, this is I think more of a player bust than something schematic. But it's kind of not it's not a real easy thing. Now this one is hard to tell exactly what happened. This is in the third quarter here. This is the last touchdown, or the last touchdown when they had their starters in here. So they're going to bring a blitz, and they're going to drop him. The problem is when they drop him, they lose a contain player over here.
Yep.
So the issue is this a spy? Because he looks like he's kind of looking at his eyes. Is this a spy? Are they dropping him to spy him? Now, and that's one question, but the other part of this is you should definitely get home on this. I mean, they got a free blitzer, but you have no contained player. And he's just able to take off.
I think Steeg has a great picture of that. That right there of Patrick Macon just kind of laying out and completely whiffing.
Yeah.
So this looks like an overload, and so generally, if you want to overload blitz from one side, you're going to have somebody least one player responsible for contain.
They'll drop. Sometimes they'll drop him into coverage. I think he was, and it's possible he was a spy, but you could see the quarterback looks here, so I don't know if he was in. And this is Reeves, and he's a pretty good player at the line of scrimmage. But you could see last year when he's in space, he's not a great player in space.
This is like a zone read concept this looks familiar to me from like the Jim Johnson Eagles, and
they're on a crossface. They're basically going to try to. Yeah. They're basically going to kind of say whatever to these guys, block nobody. I'll take a step up to hold them for a second. 2 guys on the center, basically, and then 2 guys on the guard. So we're just overloading this side, really. Ends up being with 5. We're overloading 3 guys with 5 guys, basically. I think they do a decent job of kind of passing off, but one of them is going to get free just because you're holding him. I think what happens is he sees the quarterback's eyes go there, and he thinks maybe I can jump underneath something.
Now, does Reeves pedal back here? Because look, there is no safety up top here. Does Reeves pedal back because he sees the I guess that's the number 3 receiver get inside here and goes, oh shit.
I think he's reading his eyes.
Okay.
I think he was probably supposed to be a spy. And he saw his eyes go under there and thought, I'm gonna jump underneath this.
Jump this route.
Instead of maybe, he's either a spy, but he's probably also the, contained guy here. And he may freelance here. And then the blitz doesn't get home, and now you have no contained player. And he doesn't get touched until he's at the 2. So this is another one. I doubt they're drawing anything up without a contained player. Those guys are really fundamentally sound. So what happens? I don't know. Because they're kind of, they got 3 over 2 here.
Is what happens maybe it's 34-0 in the third quarter, the game's over and you're just sort of out there going through the motions and not as super
focused. It could be. I don't know. They bust up here too. They got lucky. If you look up there, they busted. He's not even looking at him. So I don't know what the call was here. Again, but schematically the blitz is a perfect call. But it just doesn't hit. So.
All right, let's keep it moving. We'll be here all day. Oh boy!
All right, so here's a good.
One.
So we'll end on some good stuff. So 3rd and 13, right before the end of the half, they're showing a big time blitz look. Safety shading here. I think we set up in the box if they run some type of crosser, it's going to be trouble. Just based on this look, they end up bringing him, and then bringing these guys that are up the line of scrimmage back underneath the routes. And causes the throw to be a little high, and the safety does a good job here. So this is a good scheme right here. 3's trying to get vertical. The linebacker was up the line of scrimmage. He was up in the A-gap. Gets underneath it. And the safety is able to come and make a play on it. So this is, and then you also, up front, you get a little pressure in the quarterback's face. So this is an example of what happens when they execute a play pretty well. And that's a funky looking coverage. Right here, you're thinking this is, what is, I'm not sure. They kind of are basically giving them something short, and we're rallying tackle to it with this kind of the clock situation. So that's a good job right there. A good scheme and well executed, and they get an interception out of it. When, the first half, SMU's still trying to score. So we'll look at one play, a good play on offense here. So against South Carolina State, they ran this, I call it snag, area people call it Y corner. And they're going to run like a return here where he can sit, then basically like a corner post there. So
we're running air raid against an air raid team.
Yeah, similar stuff.
And is that a choice by Wilcox there? Is that, does he have choice? Can he?
I think he's probably on the corner. What he could do, what's his option is he could flatten it almost to an out route. But
okay.
I think kind of what they're looking at here is they're kind of looking through here. And if these guys open to this side, I know I got the post. Basically, you're 1-on-1 right here with a lot of space to win. And that's Bryce Miller, right? So he runs a really good route. Quarterback does a good job holding this safety. And then you get a big hole for the touchdown here.
And so that ball was supposed to go to the boundary side there first.
It could.
So
he could work it here. Yeah, and then he's coming back. So I'm probably working this first, and then if I see this guy kind of widen out, I know I got this post shot coming in here. It is a pretty good job. And this is under some pretty good protection, but under some late duress, he sits in there and makes a throw here too. So that's kind of progress all around there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys, you'll see, like, late in that game, Blake just keeps getting hit and keeps getting up, and then keeps getting hit again, and then keeps getting up. And it's just one of those things where, despite maybe his perceived flaws or actual flaws, there's no doubting that he is tough as hell and wants to play. I was down on the sideline when he got horse-collared and sprained his ankle, and he wasn't coming off the field for nothing. And then he got hit 2 more times and still wasn't coming off the field. You cannot, for whatever you want to say, you can't deny the fact that he will sit in the pocket. He will take those hits, and by God, he took some hits on Saturday night.
Yeah,
that's one tough son of a bitch. And we actually talked about this in our Slack channel a little bit. Nate, I think, had some poignant insight. I was like, well, if McLeod's hurt and Blake's hurt, get them out of there. I mean, this game's a blowout. And Nate said, well, who are you going to put in? Jaquez? And I'm like, maybe?
Didn't they do that and then a snap went over his head?
Perfect transition. This is the last play I want to show you.
Perfect.
Welcome, Vito.
Timeout. Vito, like, out of the damn rafters.
He's like,
you're supposed to be on the video,
in.
Took 20 minutes for me to lay that in there.
He repelled in like Sting just to get one over the top. All right, so right here we're going to have it's going to be a quarterback counter all the way, but it's down, 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 kick, and then wrap. So right now, the way they're playing this, I mean, look, you've got They're trying to play that tight front, but this is what gave them problems in other games. So don't watch the ball because it's going to be distracting when it sails over his head. Watch up here. This is actually a really good job up front. Now, this is a long down block, so maybe that's why he kind of was trying to get out the chutes really quickly and shot it over his head. But right there,
if I'm just looking in here. Start over?
Huh?
I said it is distracting. Can you start over?
Okay.
I was like, squirrel.
Yeah. So they even slant to it, and it's a really good job right there by the offensive line. And right now you got him coming to kick him, and the quarterback would be following him right behind.
I love how tight the tackle and guard were on that. They were in sync. It looked like they knew what they were doing, and the ball. Like look at the two guys pulling. They are basically one person right there.
And then look right here.
That's what you need.
That's where all the down linemen are right here, and this is where they're running to. So you would have had the kick returner pulling the ball, following a big guy on one of these blocks up inside. This play could have possibly scored if the snap was a little better. So this is another one where it's like, oh, God.
So this is like kind of like the old Redskins counter tray play, isn't it? It's just without a tight end.
Pulling the backside. What they'll do now is they'll, instead of tight end, they'll either use him to kind of fill in the edge, or sometimes they'll even, like Oklahoma, reads it. They just read the backside and control it with either quarterback or some type of bubble or something backside. But yeah, this is just old school counter. And it's a gaping hole created by the offensive line here. So that's one I wanted to show just because it was, there were some other plays that were really well blocked. But that was one just because it shows up on the stat sheet as like a 20, what it ended up being like 2nd and 32 or something like that. Something crazy. Or 3rd and 32, but it's a 20-something yard loss, but it probably could have been just as easily a 23-yard touchdown. So
great design, great execution, loses 23 yards.
Well, maybe it might have been like we'll give the center like a half here because the snap was terrible, but the block was really good. So it's like 10 and a half
partial
guys
credit.
Executing. Yeah, 10 and a half guys
partial
executing.
Credit.
Yeah,
good job.
So that's all I got for this round.
Yep. Well, I appreciate Seth being able to cut this up, and I think Vito magically got it.
No, we can't do this. Like literally, if you watch us or do anything that we do with the podcast or video, it's all because of Vito. We can't pull that off without him.
He's the man.
Seth is the one who's doing all the craziness in huddle, though, so it's a team effort.
Total team effort. Great job by everyone. All right.
Hey! Nice shirt.
It's everyone in lime green today.
Look at us. Fancy.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. I was stunned at how bad it was. I thought we weren't good. I didn't think we were that bad. Seth, do you see us getting all right, UConn opened 14.5 point dog. Was down to 11 last I looked, which means Vegas thinks USF sucks too.
Do you see any better? They're better in every statistical measure than UConn that I've looked at so far. Like every single one up and down the board, they're better statistically.
It's still holding at 11.
Still at 11, yeah. But is this fixable? Can this team get better this year?
I think there's my biggest issue with the team is there's a lack of athleticism that is really surprising to me, being a school in Florida. That's on both sides of the ball, I think, and that's something that can't really be fixed. This is just me coming in kind of a different look. A lot of the receivers, who's your best receiver? Who are your probably top 2 receivers right now?
Bryce Miller,
Wilcox,
and Johnny Ford.
Tight end Will.
So you got a converted running back and a guy that started where did he go to, like Southeastern or something like that, right?
I think he was at like Southeastern.
Yeah, those are your 2 best receivers. And then it's hard to judge the running backs, but and then on defense, there's just times they look slow. at certain positions. They just don't look as athletic. So that's been surprising for me. Is that's something that can't be fixed. But the thing that is encouraging to me is if you're just on the outside looking in, you're like, okay, what should the offense be trying to do? I think everyone would say get Johnny Ford the ball more. Well, they tried to get him the ball a bunch of different ways on Saturday. They didn't all work, but they moved him outside the receiver. They had him outside in motion and in, so he got free releases. The only thing they didn't do is put him in the backfield. But so there's things like that where they're doing probably exactly what if they asked you what do you think they should be doing, you'd say, well, this is what they should be doing. Well, they're trying to. So that's encouraging, but it's really going to be all for the rest of the season. I think it's going to be kind of what happens up front. Can they continue to improve there? I think they're getting better. They're playing pretty decent teams too now, so it's kind of, I don't know. I think they're getting a little bit better, but they're still showing signs of it's more maybe kind of this is maybe as good as they can do. But I think they'll improve, but I don't know if it'll be good enough.
Who are the plus players that you've seen? Who are the plus players?
You were just really killing into the digging into the podcast there, Colin. That's a podcast question, son.
It probably is, but we'll finish
save
on that,
it.
I guess.
Download that.
Save it? Okay.
We're gonna see. That's called a tease.
That's a
Listen to the podcast for that answer.
And again, that podcast, as well as this film room, are sponsored by Matrix Hormones. Matrix Hormones, matrixhormones.com, 813-333-2226. Again, that's 813-333-2226. Get back your vim and vitality. Hopefully you too can have the talent that you need to succeed, unlike the USF football team. 813-333-2226, matrixhormones.com. We want to thank them for allowing us to do this. Nate, you're here now. You sign them off.
Well, guys, thank you for watching and downloading and everything else that you do for the podcast and the site. Can't do it without you guys. Appreciate it. Let us know in the comments or Twitter or in the article what you guys want to see more of, less of. I know it's probably our faces, but maybe not Seth's, but like everyone else's. Don't want to see their faces, but let us know. We can tailor our content to what you guys want. This is just us trying to be football nerds a little bit. So if you guys want more, less, please let us know.
If you want us playing a crazy football video game instead of watching actual football, we can do that too.
After Spencer played that unnamed goose game and was hilarious with it, maybe we should go get some Tecmo Bowl and see if we can dial it up, have some fun. All right, boys, have a good one.
All right, go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.